Hello, everyone. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV on this Thursday afternoon. I'm here to talk about West Ham United versus Chelsea match preview. The link's in the chat. Anyone wants to come on if they're say on the game and giving me their sort of predictions, they can. I have had such a rough old day. Trust me, rough, and I'm going to try and get this video done as quick and as calmly as I can. Before I get started, please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to E20 Zone TV, hit the notification bell, and if you want to become a member of the channel, check out the membership stuff on that. Listen, today, and we've seen today in regards to Graham Potter that a man looks drained of energy. Yeah, and that's what happens when you work for David Sullivan, in my opinion. Obviously, we've seen Edson Alvarez go, but I'm here to talk about the Chelsea game. What do I expect from the Chelsea game? Not a lot, if I'm being truthfully honest. I'm expecting a good hiding from these. They are a well-organised team. They are the club world champions. They've got Cole Palmer. They've got all sorts of quality all around the pitch. It's going to be a painful viewing for us, especially with the midfield that apparently it's going to be. Do you know what I'm saying? If I see Guido Rodriguez and James Ward-Prowse in a midfield at all, I am not going to be best pleased. I really am not. I do look at Chelsea, and I think last week was a bit of a blip. They will want to make a statement. Perfect game to make a statement, isn't it? Against West Ham away from home. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's all go back to probably this time last year, September time it was, when we played Chelsea at the LS under Julian Lopetegui. That game haunts me to this day for how bad we was. I'll never forget it. I went away with the missus at the time, and I was in the car coming back. I was watching it on my phone. I couldn't believe how bad West Ham was in that sort of short space of time. All over the place, all out of sync, everything. I witnessed it last week. The same West Ham yet again, out of position, out of sync, just crap. Do you know what I'm saying? I do not know how West Ham approach this game tomorrow. Do they sit there and just try and contain Chelsea? Do they sit there and try and attack Chelsea? I've got no idea. Do you know what I mean? Potter has got a huge mountain to climb on this one. Yeah, and I don't think he's going to do what we think he's going to do. Right? If he goes with Guido Rodriguez, James Ward-Prowse, and Lucas Paqueta, then I'm going to say something right now. Yeah, he's asking for the sack. He's asking to be sacked there and then, right now, and that is just not right. It's just not right at all. Like we see it last week, right? With that midfield three, Freddie needs to come in. We need some Cockney spirit in there. That's what we need. We need someone who can come in there and understand what it means to be a West Ham supporter and what it means to the fan base. All right, I need to see Freddie Potts play, and this might not be the right time for him, but I think we've got no other choice. Like we've simply got no other choices whatsoever at all. So I want to see Freddie play. I don't want to see Guido Rodriguez in there. I can sort of accept Ward-Prowse in there to a point, but it is what it is, right? Because you can't get rid of all of them. Right, we've got rid of Edson Alvarez today. So, the question is what's he going to go with? He's going to go with the 3-5-2 or the 5-3-2, right? And it's a case of we've got to stop Chelsea from scoring early, right? If Chelsea score early, it's over. It's as simple as that. It is over, and there is no coming back from this. But if they score early, Cole Palmer or Gettins or Pedro all kick into gear, yeah, it's going to be a long evening for us, right? And I'm not really. Do you know what? I'm going to be straight. I'm not really concerned about what happens on the pitch tomorrow. I'm more concerned about what happens off the pitch, because the way it is going, right, and what I've seen today in regards of right all this propaganda shit coming out. We're being linked with Diouf, who's all of a sudden gone to Inter Milan. We're linked with so many other players, but there's no bids happening. That just tells me that the propaganda machine is in full effect. It simply is. So yeah, listen, get your comments in. I'm gonna go for about half hour. Let me know what you think in regard to that. Now, starting lineup for me. Obviously, I listened to Potter's interview earlier on. He's basically saying that Mads Hermansen is going to be playing. Yeah, there's nothing to worry about with him. Fine. It is what it is. He had a bad day. Right. From one bad week, he could have a great week this week. So, it is what it is on that. He's going to start. The back three can't header a ball for love of money. So I need to see someone in there who can header a ball. Right. And one of them's got to come out of there. Right. I'm not being funny enough. I'd actually take Kilman out if it was me, because I thought he was absolutely shit last week. And I'd put Mavropanos in there and have someone in there who could actually header the ball and do some damage from like set pieces. Chelsea are very slick along the ground, but in the air they're a bit inconsistent. Like, obviously they've got Pedro up front, and I don't know what's happening with Nicholas Jackson. I couldn't tell you what's happening with him. So, they've got pace. They've got good midfielders in Enzo Fernandez also, and we've got fucking Guido Rodriguez, which is quite embarrassing. So the back three is probably going to be the back three that started at Sunderland. Yeah, the wing backs are probably going to pick themselves in Malik Diouf and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, the three in the middle of the park is a problem for me, majorly, and I need to see Freddie Potts in this side. Yeah, there's no more time now. Yeah, he's had enough time. We've seen him in pre-season. Play the man, right? He's either going to fold or he's going to call. Yeah, and if he calls, he's going to be a great call for playing him. I need to see Freddie Potts. Yeah, I need to see a bit of calmness in there. I need to see a West Ham lad in there. I need to see someone who cares about this club, because it seems like a lot of these players who are currently at West Ham do not give a shit about this club. Not one bit. Right? So Freddie has to play. Lucas Paqueta has to turn up and all. Yeah, because he hasn't been on form for a long time. Now the betting charges have gone. Everything's passed aside. Fine. He needs to turn up. This is the game for him to turn up, hopefully. And then you've got a toss of a coin between James Ward-Prowse, Guido Rodriguez, Thomas Souček. I'll put Thomas Souček in. I really would. Right? Thomas Souček is good in both boxes. He can actually header a ball. Do you know what I'm saying? And, I'd go with a two-man midfield with Potts and Paqueta. And then I'd push Thomas Souček a bit further forward and have him behind fucking Füllkrug and Bowen. So it might have to be chaos. That's the only thing I can think of, because I can't see how West Ham are going to win this game. I simply don't. I find it worrying. I find it that we are lacking goals in our side. We're relying so much on Jared Bowen to turn up. If not, what happens? Nothing. So, there's a cause for concern, and there's a worrying sign, but Freddie Potts has to start. And if I see Guido and James Ward-Prowse in the same team again a following week, you are asking for the sack. You're simply asking for it. And if Thomas Souček doesn't get a look in at all, then I don't even want to think about it. So I will get to your comments. And if anyone wants to come on after I've done this segment, then they're more than happy to come on, give me their thoughts on the game, right? So I'm going to come to predictions now. And predictions time. I think we're going to get a fucking good hiding. If I'm being truthfully honest, I think we're going to get absolutely rolled. I can't see how West Ham get anything out of this game unless they score first. West Ham need to score first, defend well, and hope to get a draw. If Chelsea come out like they did last year under Julian Lopetegui's reign and go through the middle of the park against us like they did last year, it could be 3-0 in the first 20 minutes. It really could. It could be 3-0. We could all be sitting there going, this is going to be hard. And then the goals are just going to keep going in. And it really all depends on how ruthless Chelsea want to be. Yeah. That's more to the point. It's more, if they want to really give us a good hiding, they can. And we're going to have to we're going to have to take it. These defenders need to liven up. The midfield's shit. But I don't want to be like a broken record, right? I don't. But I can't keep blaming people, right, employees, when the butt stops at the top. It stops at the top of the tree. And I won't. Now, Potter's got a big decision tomorrow. Yeah, does he chuck Freddie Potts in there? I think it's a free hit game tomorrow. It's as simple as that. It's a free hit, chuck him in. Like, what's the worst that can happen? We lose the game, right? But if Freddie goes in there and is good, then we might have half a chance of doing something. But we're relying a lot on the youngster. We shouldn't be relying on our youngsters, really, if I'm being truthfully honest. Nicholas Forkrug is another one that has to turn up. He has to turn up. And if he doesn't turn up, how do we score goals? He's another one. Forkrug, Bowen, Suchek. If all three of them can turn up, we've got half a chance. One of them can't get on the pitch. One of them is the biggest PR merchant, and one of them's our best player, and he can't do it all on his own. So, it's a problem. So I'm gonna go for the same scoreline that happened last year. I'm gonna go for 3-0 Chelsea. I think Chelsea come out. I think they will look to turn over the bad result that they got last week, the 0-0 draw against Crystal Palace, where they wasn't good. I think they score early, they score again, and it's going to be a very much similar situation to what it was last year, right? And then the game's just going to filter out. I don't know how we score goals. I simply don't know how we score a goal against them without conceding 2 or 3. Yeah, and we've got five defenders. And if Guido Rodriguez and James Ward-Prowse start, which I'm praying that they don't, I'm praying he thinks about it and takes one of them out and puts in Freddie Potts and then tries to work it off of that. It could be a nightmare. It could be a nightmare. I see people saying, like, I see dads at job saying James Ward-Prowse free kick. We're never that close to the goal to get a free kick. Never. Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel for Potter in this situation because where's his players? Do you know what I mean? Today, 50 links to players today, right? That I've seen, like link after link after link after link. Do you know what I mean? More links than the fucking links to London. Do you know what I'm saying? And I can't be dealing with it, mate. I really can't. So I'm going to say 3-0. I'm going to say that they roll us out the ground. And I think it's going to be hostile big time. If not outside the ground, but definitely inside it if we're getting hammered. And if we see a situation where the fan base start walking out and the ground is empty, I just don't think this is all on Potter. I think you can blame Potter for on the field stuff, yeah, and the way he plays and his woke ball, right? You can blame him for that, and I'm with you, right? What I can't blame him for is the structure. And I can't blame him for the structure, the way everything is just all of a sudden piled onto him, right? And this ownership is sitting there making £2 million extra bids. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's taking the piss, literally, out of A, us, B, the club. So, is what it is. Right, let's get to your comments. Let's see what you're all saying. Crosshammers says 3-1, late own goal. Fucking own goals, mate. Yeah, fair enough. I can see us being a 5-0 hammering. I can tell, mate. Barry's called this half empty stadium at half time. Fair enough. Potter has to be given 2 of his own players. Potter's got 2 managers, players, mate. He's not a miracle worker. Yeah, he ain't gonna get a tune out of like players if they don't fit the way he plays. It's like asking a fucking bus driver to drive a plane. Do you know what I mean? A bus driver can drive a bus, but he's not got the ability to drive a plane. And Potter hasn't got the ability to get the best out of the shit that is at our club at the minute. That's as simple as that. So, what more can you say? The West Ham website shows loads of empty seats already. It's not going to be good, mate. It's not going to be good. I think people are starting to think out loud and thinking about it. Now, there could be 2 ways of looking at this, and they will spin this. They will spin this rapidly, right? What I'm about to say. If there is loads and loads of empty seats, yeah, I can guarantee it, hand on my heart, yeah, they will turn around and say it's because of the summer holidays and everyone's on holiday. That's what the next thing will be. Oh, the season ticket holders are not there because people have gone away on holiday and weekends away, and it's a bank holiday weekend. They will use that as an excuse and all, right? I've heard all these excuses all too many times, right? And these excuses don't wash with me at all. Never would you have seen that at Upton Park ever. You know what I mean? Empty ground. I went to Upton Park a hell of a lot. And I've never seen West Ham evacuate the Upton Park when we've been 3 or 4 nil down. I remember a game years ago, right, when we played Leeds United and we lost the game 4-3, was 4-1 down, right, and was getting absolutely hammered. And Viduka scored, and I think they had Q on their side, and Smith, and all these players. Never anyone walking out. Never. Yeah, everyone was there to the end, and sort of, and then when the fan base got together, we started to make a comeback. But before anything else, it was too late. So, is what it is. GP's in the house. It ain't Graham Potter. Our club died once GSB took over. We left Upton Park. Yeah, mate. Yeah. Do you know what? That still saddens me, mate. It still saddens me. Let's get to Hayden's comment. For people going to the game tomorrow, they need to let their voices and opinions heard about the board. I completely agree. I couldn't agree any more with you on that, mate. I don't know more times I've got to say it, if I'm being truthful. Right, let's have a look, see what else we got here. 3-0 down in 25 minutes. Everyone leaves the ground. That's exactly what we need. Well, I'll be doing a watch along tomorrow. So I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be watching it, and if we go 3-0 down and I start seeing people walking out, then it's going to be very, very heartbreaking, to say the least. I keep thinking what happens when the lease ends at the stadium. It's a 99-year lease, mate. They're all going to be brown bread. All of us will be brown bread. So yeah, it is what it is. Let's have a look. Let's see what Iron's analysis has to say. 4-1 Chelsea. I'll be like these games under Billage. We were shit, but we got a token goal at the end. I think it all depends on how we set up tomorrow and what Potter does, because Potter could be asking for the sack here. He really could. If he goes with Guido Rodriguez and James Ward-Prowse and Paqueta again, I think he's asking for trouble. And what it is, even I can't defend him on this. Right? If Freddie Potts doesn't start tomorrow night, yeah, I can't even defend him. Right? And everyone's got the right to go straight in on him straight away. What I've got a problem with is if he's sitting there and he's having to use these and he's being forced to use these because he hasn't got his own players. That's where the problem lies with me. Are you going on Sky Sports? I'm trying, mate. I'm trying. I'm seeing everyone else getting on there. I have applied. They're probably going to check out my YouTube channel and see how much of a vocal voice I am. So we're going to see. But I am waiting for an email, right? And when the email comes through, you will know about it. And if it does come in that I'm accepted, I will get on there and I will be saying about Sullivan quite a lot. What I've noticed with a lot of people who've gone on there, they've mentioned about Potter, but they've mentioned about Potter too much. Whereas I look at Potter as collateral damage right now. I don't really look at Potter as the problem. I look at him as the person that is just going to be thrown well and truly under the bus very, very fast, very, very quick, and everyone will look at him. My problem is this ownership of this club, because there's no way in 10 years West Ham should be where we are right now. When I look at teams like Nottingham Forest, who have been in the league 4 years, and they've done a hell of a lot more than us in a space of 4 years, in a short space of time. And they've been, they've cut corners, Nottingham Forest, let's have it right, they've cut corners, and they've won in certain aspects of what they've done. But Potter is really, he's being thrown to the wolves a little bit here. So, is what it is. See what Sean's got to say. Potter's going nowhere, as Sullivan needs a fall guy. Completely agree. We'll see through it. Gave up my season ticket up 3 years ago now, and we're just going backwards. I took us at 7-1 to go down. We're now 5-2, and that's from a fan. I would never back West Ham to go down ever, right? Even if I thought it was absolutely nailed on, right? But if you've ever had bets on West Ham to go down this year, I think it's a fucking great bet at the minute, and that's sad to say. I really do, because I just don't see the positive out of it. So a cup of coffee, it's my first coffee of the day. Let's have a look. Everyone should walk out on the 10th minute for BS out. 2010 is when they took over, and we're in the club. Yeah, I know, mate. I know. Listen, I'll tell you what, I'm going to say this. It's very, very hard for me to I want to be positive about the team. Yeah. And these positive merchants out there, these people that go, oh, you just got to back the team and you got to be positive, positive power to the people and all this shit. Right. I rate it, but I'm not delusional. Do you know what I mean? I'm a realist. Like, and I like to see what is happening in front of my eyes. With this situation, I've been calling this for the last 2 years that this is a downward spiral that's continuously happening. And the thing is, right, I see people having a go at Potter, and I look at Potter and I think if your hands are really tied, which I do believe his hands are tied, like massively, I just don't see. I just don't see where it's going. Do you know what I mean? A bad workman will always blame his tools, but Potter has Poundland tools compared to the vast array of Black and Black and Decker tools other clubs have. I completely agree. That's a great comment. That's an absolute superb comment because that's exactly how I feel with him at the minute. I don't really look at him as a problem, right? If he had had 100 million spent this summer and he's gone out and got bought six of these players and we're performing like this, I'll be like straight at the front of the queue saying, yep, we've got to get him out because he's shit, he's no good. I just feel like we're having a go at him because the performances are bad, but he's working with shit. He's just working with crap at the end of the day. It does frustrate me when people call for a walkout and don't attend games. People, yeah, but many people have walked out over the years, mate. It doesn't make a blind bit of notice. Do you know what I mean? What people need to do, yeah, is if there has to be a protest in regards of a walkout, and everyone says right on the 60th minute mark, everyone's walking out, or or not even walking out, walking to the concourse, have a pint, sit there and watch the game on the TV, because that makes more sense than standing there with a fucking Sullivan out banner. I've seen the Sullivan out banners for years, right? I see it at Fulham away. I've seen it at Nottingham Forest away, right? I've seen the banners. And what's the point in that? It doesn't go nowhere. What needs to be said is that this ownership is not going anywhere, right? So fine. If they're not going to go nowhere, great. It's fine. Yeah. But we demand change now. And if you can't match what we want to do, you've got to get up and go. Simple as that. He's to blame for Alvarez leaving, I think, but he isn't to blame for what's happened this season if we don't get the next 11 days correct. I disagree on that, mate. Dan, I'm not going to lie, mate. Anyone who's blaming him for Alvarez, Alvarez, and I've done a video earlier on, Alvarez has been a liability for a long time. Yeah, and I've been one of Alvarez's biggest backers. But even I looked at it and went, this geezer's cost us games. He's been sent off in games. Um, he's not the player that everyone thinks he is. Do you know what I'm saying? I remember Man City away this season. No, to like last season, January the 4th, right? Because it was the day that Julian Lopetegui got his marching orders and we was going after Potter, right? Ball comes in, he ducks under it, like the header, like he ducks under the header, like you know what I'm saying? And that's Edson Alvarez. Like, nah, I'm not buying that one, mate. I really am not. Let's see what this man's got to say. We'll stop being ambitious and let's now blame the fans for our failings. They should be ashamed of themselves. Another great comment. Another great comment. Superb. Uh, Alvarez had to go. Attitude's not right. Slow on the ball. A hit head at times. We need pace, a creativity, and a bit of drive in that midfield. Completely agree. Let's see when Potts gets cooked. Damien, I'm not being funny, mate. Right? We all know you're a Chelsea fan, son. Amount of people that have messaged me and said, James, you do know he's a Chelsea fan. And I was like, yeah, I can spot a Chelsea fan a mile off, mate. And Damien DeMarco's is a Chelsea fan, 100%. 100%, James. Alvarez massively overrated. All his stats are facts. Declined on the pitch has mostly been down to him being right. Yeah, he's Declan Rice's replacement. Yeah, I mean that's what he is. Old Decker's replacement. Who would have thought it? Let's have a look. Let's get up to the top here. See if there's anything else. Let's see what Daniel Neal's got to say. Transfers when we're 5 days left in the window without proper bids in, then clubs ain't going to entertain us as they will have less time in their end. Yeah, I completely agree, mate. I completely agree on that. It's not good. It's not good at all. And I am a little bit. I'm a little bit concerned. See, this is a great comment. Darren's on form today, right? Sheffield Wednesday deliberately entered the ground 10 minutes after kickoff to protest at their owner refusing to sell the club. Maybe something like that could be arranged. But if you go back to that game, that game was at Leicester City away, their first game of the season. They stood there with the biggest banner going, and they all halted at the end and basically stopped everything. And I think, if I remember right, the game got delayed, I think, because of that. So, it's a problem within itself. Right, let's see what Daniel's got to say. Take it away, mate. What do you want to say?
Sorry, James, 2 seconds. Can you hear me, mate? My Bluetooth just took a while to connect up.
No worries at all, mate. You take your time. Right,
Yeah. Sorry, mate. You viewing now?
Yeah, go on, man. Take it away.
Yeah, to be honest, mate, same as usual, really. Just concerned, obviously, it's an absolute bloodbath tomorrow. A little bit, and a bit of me is actually hopeful that we might get a result. Very, very, very unlikely. Obviously, terrible news today about Alvarez. Absolutely gutted from our point of view. One of the very few people actually I thought had a bit of fight and a bit of spirit. I totally agree. Potts has to start tomorrow, but it's a big game for him to start, and maybe it's a bit too much pressure for him. And the other choice I would say is Madsen. That's another huge call. Personally, I think it's best to take him out the firing line because his confidence is going to be absolutely destroyed if he ends up conceding another five. So, yeah, definitely big concerns tomorrow.
Right. So, what is it you want to see tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow I want 3-4-3. I don't know if you see my pitch on the board there. Basically, I'd have three at the back. So I'd have Ariola in goal. I'd have Mavropanos. I'd have Aguero to the left, Todibo to the right, Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the right-hand side, Diouf on the left, and a central midfield pairing of Souček and Potts. That is what I would go for, even though it is a bit of a risky game. I'd put Alvarez in there, and I'd put Paqueta on the left wing. I'd put Bowen on the right, and Fulkrug up top. I'd probably change the formation and go for something like that. Obviously, I know Paqueta's not going to be there long term, but temporarily, I've seen him there before, and I think he can do a job.
He ain't going to go with that because if he goes toe to toe with Chelsea, we're going to get hammered 10.
He's going to try. Anyway.
Yeah, we are going to get hammered, but what's the point in going toe to toe and knowing that you're going to get hammered? I'd rather be hard to beat in this situation. It's going to be an hard game, whatever way we go around it, because we just haven't got the players. What are you predicting tomorrow? What scoreline are you predicting?
Honestly, it's going to be 5 or 6-0, I think. Honestly, that's what I think. I just think I can see exactly what everyone's saying in the chat. So you've got half time, 3 or 4-0, people walking out half time. And yeah, the circus continues. I'm not going to, I'm really angry about Potter, and I want to right shout and scream about it. I think he'd be gone by Spurs anyway. And what annoys me the most, it's a bit like life, really. Sometimes you've got to have a go. And if he carries on this formation and keeps rolling over and, waiting to get done, then I just don't understand it myself. If I was him, I'd rather just go, do you know what, sod it. Let's go attacking. Let's go on the front foot and let's at least have a go. He's not hiding to nothing anyway. So, and he can, best case scenario, looks like a hero. So I just don't see why he don't have a go.
I don't think he's gone by Spurs. I don't, because Sullivan begrudges sacking managers, right? Unless the fan base literally completely turn, right? I think the fan base are more looking at the owner than they are looking at Potter, even though they're not happy with Potter. That's where people's minds need to turn to. Listen, I get what people are saying about Potter. Is Potter the most glamorous manager at the minute? No, he's not. Right, and I can openly say that, and I'd agree with he's 100%. But he's not the problem. The problem is the person who's delaying transfers, fucking about with £2 million extra bigs this week, and really not doing anything. Like, I'm not being funny. Like, what have we done all week other than just be linked to people? And even today, right, we've been linked to about fuck knows how many fucking midfielders today, and there's not been one bidding. Like, and that all goes down to the ITKs and all the people that are in the know.
Oh, mate, I don't listen to any of them, mate. Honestly, it's getting to the point now where unless that person's got the shirt in his hand and it's been signed, I do not listen to anything. I'm not interested in transfer rumours until it's over the line. It's just so much shit that gets spread around the West Ham fucking social media workplace, or whatever you want to call it. It's honestly, it's not even worth getting involved in, I don't think, until that person. And at the end of the day, we all saw this coming anyway. We all knew Pickle Fernandez and that wouldn't come in straight away. We're not paying 40 million. We keep putting these incremental £2 million bids in. Fair enough. I think that's a fair amount of money. 30 million for that player is fair enough. But Southampton has said, we want 50. They're not getting it. We won't go to 40. So we're just wasting our time. The whole thing's just a waste of time. It's another phantom bid like John Duran. So, and the thing that frustrates me the most, if Potter is incapable of getting a tune out of this team, or when he's looked at the side, if he can't get a tune out of it, then please just leave. Just do us a favour and leave. You can all dread our eye instead of ruining
Yeah.
the career. Just leave, please. Leave us alone. We've suffered
Yeah,
enough.
but if he doesn't leave, what do you expect from him this year? Well, but forget everything else. What do you expect from Graham Potter's West Ham this year?
Well, the way it is at the minute, if Graham Potter's still in charge playing 3-5-2, I expect relegation. That's exactly what I think. If
Mm.
Graham Potter, by some miracle, plays 3-5-2 and we end up finishing 15th, we should build him a statue because the bloke has not got a clue. Like, honestly, I do not get it whatsoever. And it just makes me laugh. The other day, we're getting linked with Jamie Vardy. That'd be one hand. He wouldn't get Antonio back as well. We can play Wilson, Vardy, and Antonio up front, and that'll pretty much just sum up West Ham in a nutshell. To be quite honest, that'll well and truly do me.
Yeah, but Dan, is that him or is that the ownership?
It is the ownership forcing these players onto him. But on the other hand, I reckon he needs to grab a pair of balls and say no. Or just say, look, my job's untenable. I can't, I'm not operating with these players. But he also should be able to get a better tune out of what he's got. I don't think anyone looks at that West Ham side and thinks, I tell you what, I want to play Guido Rodriguez and I want to play James Ward-Prowse in a midfield 3 and a defensive 5. And that's the way I'm going to set up. I just don't. How you expect to
See,
score a goal? There's
see,
no outlet.
everything
Nothing.
can be right from a different aspect. From your aspect, I'm sort of listening to what you're saying. I sort of understand it from your point of view. From my aspect, is if this geezer's got two other managers' players, he's got a midfield that doesn't exist, and he's just chucking players in there because of the midfield. Right? If he puts Freddie Potts in there tomorrow, then that's a start of trying to recover the midfield. When you say about players being pushed onto him, he's had two players pushed onto him in this window.
Yeah.
Right? Callum Wilson, Carl Walker-Peters. He didn't want either of them, and I don't think it's fair, like that. We sort of make it all about Potter, yeah. And
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm seeing it quite a lot where people are going about Potter, right? On the pitch, fine. Everyone's got their opinion on the pitch, and I sort of get that. But this is way fucking worse than that, mate. Like this is way worse than anything. Do you know what I mean? So, Dan, I'm going to let you go, mate. I've got someone else who wants to come on,
No
but
worries.
take it easy, mate. Peace. Right.
Can you not read my name?
I didn't read your name, mate. I just brought you on. What you saying?
Can you bring him back on?
No, it's fine. What you saying?
I'm saying I think that's the worst guest you've ever had on this channel. And that is saying something because there was someone in here the other day doing an anti-Semitic rant. That is honestly that some of the stupidity there and the chat are talking about it as well. I mean, the one I want to talk about here is this bloke doesn't listen to any transfer rumors on the social media workplace. He doesn't read any of that, and that's all he could talk about, right? And this is the problem. We had it under Moyes. People think they know more than the manager, right? We're not getting anywhere with thoughts like that. Okay, that's all I came on to say. Thank you, James. Take it easy, mate.
Fair enough. He's come, he saw, and he's spoken. Okay, now keep your domestics to yourself. You know what I mean? And we're all having domestics in a minute. Listen, at the end of the day, everyone's got their own opinion on how it's going to go tomorrow night, and I can understand that. My issue is I don't think that anything is going to change right now. Yeah. And he could go and change it up. He could go 4-3-3, and I think the same rules apply. Do you know what I mean? And that is just not on. It's just not on. But, it is what it is. Let's see what Sean's got to say. 1.5 million spent to get a man out of a contract at Chelsea from Macaulay, and we haven't even used him once or signed a player recommended by him. What a waste of money. Like, look, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And I'm seeing people going on to this Sky Sports thing, right? And I can sort of understand it that they've got to sort of watch what they say. But this ain't nothing to do with Potter, mate. Honestly, because if Potter was being backed here, yeah, no one would be as aggressive towards Potter, right? They might not like the style of play, yeah, and they might not like the sort of slow build up and playing at the back, fine. But no one would be going at him the way some people are. Yeah. And some people are going at the wrong person, in my opinion. This happened under David Moyes' reign. And I turned around and said it quite clearly. And there was people turning around saying, we're going to go and get this top-end manager Tim Stein's going to change the game for us, and they believed in a dream that didn't exist. All I'm going to say is this, yeah, if we get rid of Potter and we bring in someone like Cooper, you're dropping down levels. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather give Potter his tools to do the job that he wants and see how it goes. Right, chucking him out right now, I just don't think solves any problems. But the ownership do need to be looked at. They only ask Potter out or in. Why not Sully out or in? Great comment. That man, give that man a gold star right there, right? Because why is that right there not mentioned at all on any television program, any media? And I said this the other day to someone, right? They hate it in radio, TV, news articles. They do not ever mention about West Ham's owner, right? And I've seen a lot of channels, right? Not West Ham channels, but actually independent channels doing segments on West Ham at the minute, saying what is going on there. Like, you know, what's going on there is that the butt stops with the owner before anything else as the mic nearly goes over. So, you know, right, let's get to this one. Wrong one. Let's go back. It was up here. I think you're right, James. Started with a poor decision for Lopetegui, then blew a load of money on the wrong decision that mostly didn't want. See, look, great comment, right? By the way, I was going to say that last season, right? We all knew that Julian Lopetegui was like that with the fan base, yeah. Because and I'll tell you the reason why. Quick, there was two reasons. Number one, people believed in the dream appointment, which never existed, right? Number two, people looked at him and really couldn't understand, and they couldn't understand this, of why this geezer was offered a 2-year deal on a plan, yeah. To me, it felt like at the time, and it still does to this day, that they gambled West Ham. They threw a load of money at it. They thought Julian Lopetegui is going to kick into gear, and then that'd be it. And West Ham would be competing for Europe, and everything would be sweet. When it all fell apart because no one knew what the hell he was trying to do, right? Then it's just gone down the pan basically. Yeah, and it's the ripple effect. No one's really mentioned about like the Lopetegui effect. They're looking at Potter now, and they're looking at Sullivan now. Yeah, it's not good. The video yesterday, Jane, was all about the owners, and it was by someone independent. Yeah, see, you know what I mean? I agree. People are starting to come out and starting to ask questions about this ownership, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. What we got? I hope the next interview Brady does includes real questions that the real fans want answered, but why we ain't investing like other clubs. Do you know what, mate? The other day when I listened to that interview from Aaron Talk Sport, right, I was expecting a phone in because I was that's what I was expecting. I was expecting a phone in, them to turn around and say, "Oh, right, we're going to phone in there and you're going to speak to people." Nothing of any note. So you know, I'll get James in a minute. I'll let him have his say before I wrap up. Let's get this serious question, James. If the board owners left and they need to, where do we stand? I think it's a fresh start for everyone. Rich, if I'm being honest, if the owners left, everyone can reset and go right. This is a fresh start under a new ownership, and I can guarantee it. I can guarantee it. If a new owner comes in, they will want to be ambitious. You know what I mean? This owner is content at the minute, and the problem that we've got currently right now at West Ham, that we've all got, is we've got a content owner who's just content in staying in the league. That's all it is. He looks at it and thinks, well, if West Ham finished 17th of a year, right? As long as we're a Premier League club, West Ham's always going to be glamorous. The problem I've got with that is if West Ham go down, yeah, are we going to be in a Nottingham Forest situation where we could be 20 years away from coming back? If I've seen Nottingham Forest go down, I've seen Leeds with some of the best players Leeds have ever sort of played for that club, in like Kewell and Viduka and all these players. I've seen that team go down. West Ham are never too good not to go down. And my concern is why is it taking so long for every link that we get? Like, we're getting linked to so many players, but we're not signing no one. It's just taking forever. So yeah, it's mad. Right, let's get James in for his 5 minutes. James, what you saying, mate?
How you doing, mate? Right, I just want a couple of things. First one, I watched your Nicky Hawkins show the other day, right? Really good. And what I want to say about it is the guy that come on after you, right? Did you hang about after?
A little bit, yeah.
Right. So the guy that come on after you, he basically said you'll never get rid of, like, he kind of was, I'm not sure, but he was kind of clued up on a lot of the stuff that was going on at West Ham. And
Right.
what he said was, you'll never get rid of this ownership. It would be handed down to the two sons, David Jr. and Jack. Right. Now, I'm not sure whether that's true or whether it ain't true. But the thing is, you know, are we in for another fucking? We've already had misery since the day these fuckers stepped in and bought this club, right? We have had misery, whether people believe it or not. We've had like what, one or two good seasons. The last season at the Bowling under Bilic. Other than that, it's we've had Sam Allardyce,
Right.
fucking, you know, all what you would call negative managers, non-progressive managers. Even more like even Moyes, I'll give him his credit. He got us into Europe and all that, but he is what you would consider to be a non-progressive manager. He likes to play deep
Yeah.
and whatever. So now we're in this situation now where all that I am hearing over the last few days is just total crap, right? Oh, it's all lies. We've put this many bids in. We've put that many bids in, and they've all been rejected. Listen, let me ask you something. And this is a straight question, right? I know I normally mess around and have a laugh and all that, but I'm being serious because I am a bit pissed off over this. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you was selling me, if you like, let's say you had a car for sale, it's worth 10 grand, right? And I phone you up and I go, you've got a BMW you can sell there, mate. You want 10 grand? And you go, yeah. I say, what's your best offer? Will you take 9 grand? You might go, no, I'll take 9.5.
Yeah.
And I'll either go, you all right, mate, I can meet 9.5. That sounds fairly sensible, right? It's no different when you're buying a football player. It's no different. Well, don't tell me they don't know how much the clubs want in advance. So this guy, this kid at Southampton, sorry, I can't think of his name because I was so fucking wound up. Right?
Matthias Fernandez.
Right, so Fernandez, right? You can't tell me they ain't phoned up Southampton and said, listen, we're interested in buying your player. They could have done this in June, right?
Yeah,
When the
James.
transfer window.
Yeah, but James, I'm just going to say this. Yeah, this is the thing that pissed me off the other week. Right, when West Ham were putting in a 28-2 bid, and people are saying, well, they want 50. What we've just found out right now that Southampton Football Club want 50 million. Like we haven't looked at it over the summer and gone, right, this is Graham Potter's number one target, and we're going to find out how much they want right now, 2 weeks out of the window. Like it's incompetence.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, surely, like, whatever players you're bidding for, surely there's a phone call that goes from one club to the other where you turn around and go, you know, like Aidan Hackney. How much do you want for Aidan Hackney? We want 15 million for him. And West Ham go, ooh, we don't really think he's worth 15 million. How about 12.5? And they might go, nah, 13.5, and then you go 13, and then like 13 too. There don't need to be this long dragged out process of, you know, absolutely nothing. And you've got I listen, I know I keep banging on about these ITKs, but these ITKs, they will put out any information that Sullivan tells them to put out. They don't care whether they piss
I'm going
the
to be
fans off.
straight. I'm going to be straight today. It's pissed me right off today. I mean, like literally to a point where I put something out saying the propaganda machine is back in full effect. How hard is it to nail down a target, pay the fee that a club wants, and getting the deal done? You've only got to look at Eze at the minute, who was supposed to be going to Spurs, which is quite laughable, and he spun round and Arsenal have gone in there, got the player out of there, and paid the money and got the player. The problem is that West Ham United under David Sullivan will try and cut every corner he can to save a pound note. That's that's it.
That's exactly it. There's still right there is supposedly there's still money over from the Kudus sale, right? Now all of a sudden they've let Alvarez go on loan just because someone's going to pay his wages and give you £3 million. You still got to have him back next year, right?
Sure.
When his contract's only got like a year or 2 years to go on it, then you've got to try and flog him again. So you've got to hope that he has a really good year in a nothing league in fucking Turkey, right? The Turkey league ain't that good. There's only a couple of teams, Galatasaray, Besiktas, you know, there ain't that many good teams out there. So how good is he going to shine out there to make him worth the money? We paid 35 mil for him. We paid 35, and it seems like, right, and this is just another, maybe I'm being a bit of a conspiracy theorist here, but it seems to me that all they want to do is get rid of the signings that Tim Steidten made and go like, yeah, he weren't no fucking good. All he did was cost us money. But the thing is, they've made money off of Kudus, not what they should have made, like, arguably. And now, they're looking to get rid of Alvarez. They're looking to get rid of Mavropanos. The next one will be out the door will be the winger, the kid who's got a broken collarbone. Right, you sit there and you think to yourself, is it really that fucking bitchy and that catty at West Ham that the ownership can't sit there and go, like, look, you know, let's be honest, Kudus is a fucking good player. I don't like what he's done. I don't like the fact that he's gone to the fucking front wheel skids. And I don't like, you know, what they're doing with you. But the point is Alvarez, I thought Alvarez would. Listen, the first ever game I see him in, do you remember the first game you ever seen him? He come on, he was like a fucking Terminator, mate. He was bosh, he was getting stuck into tackles.
This is a problem. This is the situation right now. There's no way that West Ham at 5:45 UK time should be having the same midfield ready to rock and roll against Chelsea this week. After the performance last week, we've seen nothing of any note this week from West Ham. All we've seen, right, and this is it. This is all we've seen all week is that 2 million extra for Fernandes. That's how much we value this kid. So it's a 2 million extra £1 million fucking bid for the player when we need the player. And
it's a joke, man.
And I know what it is. I'm just going to say this, before I let you land on anything you want to finally say, The reason why the propaganda machine is in full effect because it makes it look like they're doing something when West Ham lose tomorrow night. If West Ham get hammered tomorrow night, it makes them look like they're trying to do something. So they're firing name after name after name. There's a lot of gullible kids out there, a lot of youngsters who have got a lot of trap, and say quite a lot, but they don't know the real ins and outs of how Sullivan works. So the propaganda machine is basically, I'm going to throw out loads of names. We're going to be linked with Cisse. We're going to be linked with fucking Harvey Elliott, Jordan James, right? Let's just put this out there into perspective right now. Jordan James is at Rennes. He's been linked today with a move to fucking Wrexham. And he's been in the fire. He's been another one who's been in the name gutter. Andy Juve, right, is another one, right, who has been linked over the last 24 hours, gone to Inter about an hour ago. Right, it's the propaganda machine, mate, and I'm getting sick and tired of it.
Look at there was I can't think of his name. He scored the goal in the under-21 champions in the final. We used to be at Norwich, right? Winger. We're being linked to a winger. We don't even fucking play. Yeah, we don't even play with wingers. It's like, listen, you got to have it right. They have got West Ham fans, young and old, down as the biggest bunch of cunts that ever walked the fucking earth. They are laughing at us. And I just want to give props to a girl who you had on, I think it was yesterday, a girl called Gemma. She nailed it. Sullivan don't like us. He hates us. He knows we hate him. And he don't fucking care. Anyone who sits there thinking, we're going to make him care, you're not going to make him care. There's only one way of getting this guy out. You've either got to fucking sign the petition and everybody sign it. You know, I don't mean this horrible, but like the other day, I think Nick said there was only 6,000 odd signatures. That's like people, that looks like we don't care. That looks like we don't care about our club. And the other way to do it is, like I keep telling everyone, sing the fucker out of the club. If you sing his name out and point at him during home game, he will fucking take notice. He can't sit there and go, oh, that ain't happening, and put his fingers in his ears, because when people keep going to him, stop robbing our club and blah, 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 he's going to know, because that's all the Sullivans and Gold when he was alive. People go, oh, Gold when he was alive, he was right. He weren't all right. He's just as bad as this other cunt, right? And I'll tell you now, they ain't going to stop fucking. The reason they won't ever let go of this club is very simple. They've got their hands in the pocket of every transfer and every dodgy fucking agent that they use up and down the country. Salthouse, Silkman, fucking all of them. They all have a carve up. What do you know? How stupid do they think people are that we don't actually know? They've been robbing our club since the day they stepped into it.
Yeah.
Before then, we had fucking Terry Brown, who was all the only good owners we've had are the Icelandics, and they went fucking skint after 10 minutes. You know, it's true. I'm just
I know, mate.
honest.
I know, mate. I know. James, we're going to let you go, mate.
Look, my blood pressure's gone up. I'm all red in the face. I want to fucking have a row or something.
No worries at all.
I live over here. Go on. Yeah, good luck, mate. Good luck.
Take it easy, mate. Fuck it, before he has a coronary, mate, and passes out, I can't have him having no like heart attack on E20's own TV. I'll be done for fucking like giving people heart attacks. So yeah, that's James. He's had enough. Right. Let's bring I'll tell you what, I ain't gonna bring him in because he's gonna have something negative to say, and we don't do negativity on here. Right, listen, I'm gonna get to your final comments and see what yous have all got to say. Walk out in mass in front of the Sky cameras will piss him off. Yeah, I can completely agree on that, mate. I really do. It is what it is. Well said, James. What else we got here? Right, we got him back, and he's calm, he reckons. Right, what you saying?
No. I'm just glad the previous fella didn't mention Jewish people again. I do want to issue an apology to actually the person who called earlier. I came in hot-headed, having a go, saying he's the stupidest caller you've ever had on the show. He's not even the stupidest caller in this video, so I do want to apologize to him right now. But look, the point is, James, I'm with you. The board are the worst board in the Premier League, 100%. I'm with every single person who says this, right?
Right.
At the same time, the board are the worst board in the Premier League. We could have had it a lot worse. You compared them to Sheffield Wednesday before.
Right.
I thought that was an incorrect comparison and an unfair comparison, because right now we're crying over a £30 million bid for Mateus Fernandes when Sheffield Wednesday fans are actually crying over the fact they might not have a football club. You know?
Yeah, but so I'm going to be honest there. I'm going to say this quite calmly. I couldn't give a crap about any other club than West Ham United. And I'm going to say it quite blunt and straight to the point, because no one cares about us, so I don't care about anyone else. That's just me. When it comes to West Ham United, the way this club is being run over the last 10 years is borderline insulting, right? And it's only going to get worse as the years go on. And I've always said this, and you can either believe me or you can think I'm talking absolute bollocks. But if we continue to go the way we are going, we won't have many football fans, West Ham fans, in the ground. Everyone will be walking away, and you will have a ground full of mixture of football fans and away and home fans. And the majority will be football fans, because the hardcore fans won't tolerate this. 29,000 people do not walk away from West Ham for a laugh. And I'm going to say it openly, they don't walk away unless there's a reason behind it. And people can say it's because of COVID, it's the cost of living, it's different generations. You can have that argument, yeah, but 29,000, you get me? If we keep going up, that's near enough the whole of fucking Upton Park capacity. 36,000 was Upton Park's capacity, and we've lost 29,000 season ticket holders, and we're getting day trippers and tourist fans coming in and like being a part-time fan. Do you know what I mean? I don't look at West Ham as a part-time club. I'm fully committed to the day I go, like you are, like everyone else is. Is this ownership in it for the right reasons? And that is the $1 million question. And the answer to that is no, they're not. They're in it for themselves. You know what I mean? They moved us from our home to Stratford, yeah, for a purpose. And they told everyone that the purpose was to be a bigger, better, world-class stadium, world-class team, yeah, all this shit, yeah. It's the biggest lie that's ever been done. And I cannot wait until they are out the fucking door. Trust me on that. Because I know 100% factual that if a new owner comes in, right, they will get the club together, they will remodernise that stadium, yeah, and they will get things done. Sullivan don't get things done. It's as simple as that.
I agreed with everything you said there until you said I know 100% factually this will happen.
It will actually, mate.
Football isn't that simple. Football is definitely
a
not
lot of people can't handle Sullivan anymore, mate. I speak to loads of people, right? I do spaces. You know, I do spaces. I do this game. Yeah. I speak to people off YouTube, off X, everything. People have had enough. People have literally said, I can't handle what it is, right? And the main important thing here is identity. West Ham's identity isn't of what we are used to. And the identity has shifted from Upton Park era to Stratford era. And basically, we don't know our own club anymore, mate, if I'm being honest. Do you really recognise West Ham United Football Club as the club that you grew up supporting? Honestly.
I think about this question a lot. I think about this question a hell of a lot, right? And I think the move from Upton Park was a huge mistake. And I really wish, you know, I could take my kids to Upton Park, for instance. And I think that hurts. I've got to take them to the London Stadium instead. But James, it was a mistake, right? The stadium move 100%. We should have protested that the same. My 2 points are, though, I really don't believe the fella before said, oh, we all need to sign a petition and then Sullivan will sell up, right? Firstly, to who? Right. Okay. And secondly, I think that's delusional. And the other point, my only worry here, James, and it's not really a big worry because I don't think Sullivan really is going to sell up unless someone comes in with the money he wants, right? I think that's the only way he sells up. You know, I've stood by that. That's my line, and I think he'll happily pass it down to the two kids when he dies. And I tell you what, when they get it, we really are fucked. Yeah, we really are fucked. You talk about Sullivan being a poor owner. You know, he's kept us in the league. We've had a couple of good seasons, a lot of shit ones. Right, I tell you what, we really are fucked if they get in. The point is, though, James, you've got this idealistic view that someone's going to come into the club, wave a magic wand, clear all the debts that Sullivan's accumulated, fix the stadium magically, go and buy it out from the council, go and make a mega training ground. Right, they've got all this to-do list. Who is really going to do this? These sort of amazing people who go around fixing football clubs for fun don't exist. I'm sorry, James, they don't exist. I wish they did, and I wish they could come into West Ham. We're in the shit, mate. We're stuck with Sullivan, and unfortunately, you've either, and this is a lot of people in the chat, and I know a lot of your people hate David Sullivan. I'm with you. I think he's shit. I think he really is shit.
Yeah, but the problem is, this ain't changing. Right, you can change managers, you can change players, you can change personnel behind the scenes. The one thing that you will never change is a owner that is content. This owner is content, and that is unacceptable. Yeah, I've seen this happen, right, at another club. Yeah, on a lesser scale, but another club, when the fan base turned around and started looking at the owner and saying, if you don't sort this out, we ain't coming. The problem is there's too many egos in the West Ham community to say, no, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing what he says. Or if it's another fan channel, I ain't doing it because he said it. We should all be in the same boat here. We should all be going, you know what? This ain't right. I've been like, whether you've been going for 50 years, 10 years, 20 years, it does not matter how long you've been fucking a supporter of the club. Do you know what I mean? But if we don't do something now, we won't have a club in 15, 20 years time. Right. And I'm not even joking on that. I've been preaching this for a long time. Everyone's starting to see it. I'm so pleased that everyone's starting to see it. I'm glad the media and people are getting onto Sky Sports and Talk Sport and fucking bringing Sullivan's name up, because he is the problem, right, before anyone else. Do you know what I'm saying? And
James,
it's going to take time to spin this around, but we do it with another owner.
Two words, mate. 2 words. Yeah. Les Miserables. Right. We are Gavroche. Yeah. We are the little people. Right. What we say, unfortunately, doesn't matter too much. But what we can do is band together, wave our flags, cheer, get them out, sing it every game. Do you hear the people sing? But you know what happened to the people? They got up on the barricade and they got gunned down. Paul Goldborn, the man who put the flag in the centre, got permanently banned. No West Ham fan, and I tell you that, I'm telling you, a lot of West Ham fans, vast majority, don't want to get permanently banned. And if it's between joining with the resistance, joining with the rebellion, or cowering in fear, I'm sorry to tell you, James, many West Ham fans will cower in fear. We will never be able to get David Sullivan to give up on hundreds of millions of pounds for his future generations, right? Because we're singing and shouting and screaming, etc.
You haven't got to do that, though, mate. Mate, but this is where you're wrong. You haven't got to do all that. Yeah, what is being done right now? Yeah, you are opening the door for every other big media company to come in. And it is beautiful to see, ladies and gentlemen. It's absolutely beautiful to see. Because if you keep mentioning this geezer and this ownership on every platform going known to man, yeah, eventually independent broadcasters are going to get involved, right? And independent people are going to start drafting videos up, and more people are going to start having full eyes on what's going on behind the scenes. You can look at Potter in front of your eyes, but you've got to look beyond that and go past that and then see what's really going on behind the scenes. Why has West Ham gone the way it's gone? And the situation is, yeah, the media, yeah. For how much, and I, hold on a minute, hold on, I was going to land on this. I know full well, and I know this because someone told me this who I trust. I know he's got the media in his back pocket. Yeah, fine, Sullivan. You can have the media in your back pocket, right? Because we all know what you spew out and what you don't spew out. Fine, not a problem. But if you've got many, many thousands of fans turning around saying things on social media and everything else, you turn that around, yeah, and you aim it straight at him. Do you know what I'm saying? So there we go. What do you want to say,
James,
mate?
You've got to admit as well, though. You know, we had that 2018 when Moyes got reappointed or appointed the first time, and there were these mass protests, and that's sort of the only time that anti-Sullivan rhetoric has entered. You know, that this journalistic landscape, right? That you would see in your papers, you would see on Sky Sports regularly, right? That was pretty much the only time throughout his entire period where we've seen that regularly. And who knows, maybe we'll start to see it again this season. But did it even get close to him selling up? Not really. The only way he goes, and I'm sorry to tell you, the only way he goes is if someone comes in with the money he wants, right? And I tell you, unfortunately, the way these people have as much money as they do, right, is by selling people short. And if you really think someone's going to come in and wave this magic wand and fix everything, I'm
not saying that. And if you're saying to me, right, he's going to go, right, or he's not going to go anywhere, fine. If he ain't going to go nowhere, fine. But that doesn't stop any West Ham fan demanding change.
Couldn't agree more.
Right? It does, right? And the thing is, right, if he's saying and Brady's saying, you know what, we ain't going nowhere, right? And we're gonna put our fucking, like, lay our marker down and say that's it, we're not going nowhere. Fine, not a problem. But that does not stop thousands upon thousands of West Ham fans turning and saying, right, you ain't going nowhere, but we want this, this, and this. And if you can't deliver that, you're going to have to go, because we want European football. We want to be a top 10 side. We want to be competing at the top end. We want to be signing the best players, best young players around the world, right? We have to demand it ourselves. The problem is we don't demand enough, because, right, the scaling factor is that some people go, oh, it's the West Ham, right? It's West Ham. All that bollocks about it's West Ham has to go firmly out the window now. It has to, because at the end of the day, when you move from Upton Park to Stratford, we move for a purpose. And if that man can't deliver it, and he can't deliver what we expect, then he's not fit for purpose. Do you know what I mean?
I agree. But
well, there you go.
All the time, and I know a lot of people want to do that. angry about this and angry about that. And, you know, the sharp reality is, and the harsh reality is, that whatever we say, unfortunately, even if we get these protests going in the ground, is not going to make him sell up. You know, we can demand it. I agree. Let's demand it. Sure, I agree. Now we're in a big stadium. Let's demand it even more. You know, like you say, forget 130-year history of, I don't want to say West Ham's a mediocre club. I think West Ham's the most amazing club in the world. Right. I really do mean that. But the fact is, we haven't consistently been a top 10 club in England ever. Like, you know, even in the 80s, 60s, 70s.
But I'm sorry, Rich. I'm sorry. I'm not buying that anymore, mate. Because I've seen teams like Nottingham Forest come from completely nowhere. I've seen Bournemouth nearly go out of business about 15 years ago.
Let's see where they are in 5 years. You know?
Yeah, but I'm not worried about them in 5 years. I'm more concerned about us in 5 years. What I'm trying to say to you is that you've got to look at this, right? When people say, oh, yeah, West Ham have never been at a top 10 side, you're correct. You're correct in that aspect, yeah? And you are right. Well, I read a stat. I think it's only about 8 times West Ham have been in the top 10 ever since history, I think. Like, I'm not too sure, right? I might be wrong on that. But what you've got to understand is when people take you out of a place that is your home, they not only do they take you out of that place, but they say it on national radio the other week that basically we could have carried on being West Ham. It wasn't impossible to compete in the Premier League, right? But it would have been harder. That to me is like, you've done this for your own game. Yeah, they've done it for their own game and no one else's game at the end of the day. I'm going to bring Brad in because Brad's here. Brad, what you saying, mate?
Oh, mate, I've not long got back from work, but it's been a fucking another dreadful day, isn't it? Christ alive. It's so negative, the feeling around this club, mate.
Yeah.
Shitting it for tomorrow. Absolutely shitting it.
Well, we're just discussing the ownership. We're basically, Rich is saying that it's very, very hard to get them out. I'm saying if it is hard to get them out, fine, but we can demand change. What are you saying about this ownership and this transfer window?
Well, fucking hell, where do you start with the owners? My God, they're just poisonous to the football club, mate. They have been for years, and I was sort of putting it out there the other day on X saying I think there's a couple of things we can do, but it has to be consistent week on week. It's one, you either empty the bowl out as much as you can because the empty seats it won't necessarily hit the pockets as much because the season ticket revenue has already been paid, but obviously the merchandise and the drinks, the food, that sort of stuff, it will hit a little bit for them. But more importantly, it will cause a media storm if there's a consistent sort of walkout from the fans, either at kickoff or fans just don't turn up. But the problem is that won't happen, James, because a lot of the diehard fans of West Ham, sadly, have already given up their season tickets. And that ground's always going to attract tourist families, and it's dead quiet over there, which is another problem at the football club. In terms of the transfer window, to answer your question there, well, it's been nothing short of fucking dreadful. We've needed a central midfielder now since January, really, to be truthful about it. But we've known all windows we needed to sort it out. We haven't done anything about it yet, and it doesn't look like we're any closer. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing interested in, thinking about signing. West Ham might go for. We've only got a week and a half left of the fucking window, if that. Like, we need to be getting serious bids in now, not phantom bids, finding out what clubs want and pay the fucking money. If we're serious about wanting to bring players in, we need to go and make a couple of statements and get these players through the door. And what I will say, I sent a voice note to my brother James. If tomorrow, like tonight or tomorrow, we just saw deals agreed, personal terms are agreed, players coming in for a medical, we know he can't play tomorrow. But the lift and just bit of relief that would give the fan base going into that game tomorrow would be enormous. It would give us something, because right now, the way it's going, I think it's just going to be toxic over there, and that feeds perfectly into Chelsea's hands.
What do you make, Rich, of what Brad just said?
Yeah, I completely agree with it, with the sentiment involving, I don't think toxicity is necessarily a good thing for the football team, but look, if people do feel that genuinely could get David Sullivan out of the club, then look, I'm all for it, right? But do I think this will actually happen? No. And I think if David Sullivan was forced into a panic sell, who's he selling it to? Because look, fact is, and I stand by this point, there's a lot worse owners, and some West Ham fans don't like me saying this, or don't care about me, don't like hearing this. There's a lot worse owners in football than David Sullivan. Obviously, there aren't many owners who have chosen to move their team out of its historic home, to a stadium not fit for purpose. But I'm worried for tomorrow night. I am worried for tomorrow night. I'm with you there. I think regardless of the atmosphere, we could be in for a battering. And like you said yourself there, though, Brad, we're calling for these mass protests, etc. And a lot of people in your chat are, James. But like, my question for you both is this: do you think, genuinely speaking, enough regularly match-going West Ham fans care enough to want to do that? Or at least my perspective is it is not so much care enough,
right?
But I feel it makes a difference.
Well, if you support West Ham, you should care. Like, I'm not being funny, like, because I don't understand how people don't care. Right, but that's just me. Like, I'm looking at it from my point of view. I really care about this club. Yeah, I care about the well-being of this club, and I care about where it's going in the next 5 years. Under Sullivan, I can only see one thing, and that is backwards, very, very fast, very, very quick. Yeah, anyone who's sitting in the ground tomorrow night and not having a care about the ownership of this club needs to ask themselves, well, why the fuck are you there? Because, like, it's okay going over there for a cheap day out, and and trying to have a fucking go and watch a football match. But this is more deeper than anything. Like, and I said this on Nicky Hawkinson's phoning show the other day. This is deeper. This is more intense. There's a lot more people having a lot more eyes on Sullivan this time, because they tried to blag this with Moyes. I see all this with Moyes. Before I let Brad land on what he wants to say, yeah, I see all this 2 years ago, and I swore I will never go through that again. Yeah, ever on this platform, on any other platform. I'm not doing this Potter in, Potter out bollocks, because I know who the problem is. Yeah, and I will keep preaching it and fucking preaching it to the day I fucking go, mate. Because you can go and replace Potter tonight with another manager. The same rules apply. Yeah, you've got a content owner who doesn't care, and all he's doing is giving you the best just to stay in the league. I want better. I want an owner who cares about this club. Yeah, and I want the fan base back in that ground. 29,000 people walked away. They don't all walk away because it's a cost of living crisis. This is more deeper than that. And for me, I want to see West Ham back and being united. That's what I want to see. Brad.
It goes to show you as well how incredible a job that I had to mention this, how incredible a job that David Moyes actually did, succeeding in the way he did under.
Listen, Moyes done whether you like Moyes or not, he done a good job working under Sullivan, right? But this is more deeper than that now. Like, do you know what I mean? What Moyes had, he had a world-class player in midfield in Declan Rice, which also helped the situation. We haven't got no world-class players in our ranks. Like, we've got one top-class player in Jared Bowen, right? And this is not what we signed up for, ladies and gentlemen. And if we could, my attitude is to this: if we continue to let it go and let it pass, right? Where we're going to be in 2 years' time. If we can drop from being champions of Europe 2 years ago, or champions of the Conference League 2 years ago, to where we are to this present day, God knows where we're going to be in 2 years' time. Honestly, Brad, go on, mate. I'll let you land on anything you want to say.
Yeah, sure. Obviously, Rich, I know what you're saying about there's worse owners, and I'm sure you're alluding to clubs that have gone out of business, like Bury, Morecambe, obviously have their situation and stuff. And I understand that there's clubs that have been liquidated from terrible, terrible ownership. But there is a deepness to this as well. And as much as we haven't liquidated or we haven't gone out of business, the soul of this club has been sucked out. And that is a form of death, in my opinion, because like James said, we've lost 29,000 supporters over at that ground that have been replaced by fuck knows what. We used to see Chelsea fans. We saw multiple people wearing different shirts in our home ground, in our home at the London Stadium. That's not our home, but it is what it is now. We can't go back to Upton Park, but we got promised that we'll move into this ground to kick on as a football club. And we got into Europe under Moyes, and you're bang on. What Moyes did was phenomenal. I wasn't a massive Moyes fan because of the style of football, but I will never discredit the man and what he did for the football club, because He just went for the players that he wanted. And we can all say, well, he didn't go and sign loads of players, but he wasn't a fucking yes man. He only went and signed 3 or 4 players, but he got the ones that he wanted. He was happy to have a smaller squad. But the football was fucking dreadful. And we were meant to be we'd got into European football. We were meant to be kicking on. And in the space of 2 years, Nottingham Forest, who were on the brink of relegation, are now playing in European football because they've got an ambitious owner that wants to take them forward. And West Ham United have just gone backwards. And now a lot of people will say, but we have invested, Brad. We have spent money, James. But there was no strategy behind it. Like, we had a director of football who didn't have full control on what was going on at the football club. And he's left the football club. We gave him 1 year. You don't get a project overnight in one season. It takes year after year after year of consistent development and building. But Sullivan is too fucking power hungry to allow that to happen. Now, I'm not saying that we have to get the owner out of the football club, and I'm not saying that the protests are going to drive him out of the club. But what I do at the very least demand is fucking change. And if protests and walking out are going to deliver change to the football club, then that's fine by me. If that means they're going to wake up and get a fucking sporting director in.
You know, and what change are we actually going to get there? What is that change going to look like? Because
easy, mate. Easy, Rich.
It won't be Sullivan. It won't be Sullivan is changing.
It's a model, mate. It's a case of saying, look, we're going to go and we're going to get a sporting director in, and we are going to leave him to run the club. We're going to, the owners are there. The owners should not be tapping too much into it. Yes, it's their money and it's their investment. I understand that. But they've got to put 100% trust and do due diligence on a proper sporting director that can come in and go, right, I'm going to get the players that are going to, we're going to firstly identify the brand. What does West Ham stand for? What is the West Ham way? And that was play on the floor, attacking football, give the fans something to be excited about and some flair players. That's our brand. So that's your starting block. And then he's going to go and get a coach that fits that narrative. And then he's going to sign the players for West Ham, not the coach. He signs the players for West Ham United that fit the brand of football. And the coach that we bring in is going to mould to those players. He'll be able to work with them. And then that manager, if he's successful with them, like we see with loads of other clubs, goes and gets tapped up by a massive club. Off he goes. And the next manager comes in, fits the mould of the players. And we keep kicking on. We don't have that at West Ham. We've got no fucking strategy. We're just backwards.
Brad, do you really think David Sullivan's ever going to do that?
I mean, of course not, mate. That's why I want the cunt out.
Yeah, but he's not gonna. I agree. But
like but Rich, is he wrong? Yeah, but Rich, I just want to say something here, quickly. Right? Is it wrong for criticising the structure? Because the structure is wrong. This structure that he's doing is wrong, right? And listen, we're all fans, supporters, right? We all those people in the chat and the people that are going to watch this on repeat, all supporters of West Ham, right? But the structure is completely wrong here. And that's a problem for me, right? Because if you can't get the structure right, how are you supposed to progress as a club? Do you know what I mean? The progression in this club is only going backwards, right? Last year, there is no way, and I've had this debate with a few of the lads on E20, right? There is absolutely no fucking chance that if we had a top-class owner, he would have picked Julian Lopetegui. Right? It just wouldn't have done it. But the reason why he picked Julian Lopetegui for many reasons. One, he's a name. Two, he's a free transfer. There's so many things that happen consistently with the owner. And what Brad's saying about the structure, you've only got to look at Brighton. Brighton go and sell players, they go and lose managers, and they keep having a structure in place that they can replace players. I've seen it at other clubs. I've seen it at Brentford. I've seen it at Brighton. I've seen it at Bournemouth. Bournemouth have gone out and signed players, right? And they've sold £200 million worth of talent. West Ham can't even sell Edson Alvarez. That's
embarrassing.
That's a problem for me. And that's a structure problem. That's upstairs problem. Do you know what I mean? That's a problem where, how can I put this? Can you trust him? Like deep down, if I was to ask people straight to their face and say, do you trust David Sullivan with West Ham United Football Club? I know the answer I'm going to get. And there's not many, right, who support this geezer anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? There's the odd one or two out there who keep going, oh, well, you know, Sullivan's done this, Sullivan's done that. We've spent money, right? He's got the right to spend money when he puts us in a £5 million fucking a year rented accommodation. Like, he's got the right. Do you know what I mean? He's got a duty of care to every single fan. Like, the structure's wrong. I agree with what Brad just said there. I think, like, you have to have a better structure, like a Brighton structure, Brentford, and he hasn't. He hasn't. Go on, Rich. I'll let you land on what you're saying.
I could sit here as well and spell out exactly how I'd run a football club, right? You know, I mean, let's be frank, I don't have a clue either. But I could say I want all this way in the West Ham way, which people talked about. You know, I heard that said frequently throughout Moyes' tenure, the West Ham way. The fact is, we're stuck with him. We are stuck with him. And I know the fans in your comments, and you see it all across social media, desperate for protest. The problem is there's not enough to turn the fans inside the ground fully. The best you'll get is the occasional chant around.
But Rich, I understand. I get what you're saying, but West Ham's not built on 67,000. There's more than just 67 that are in the ground week in, week out, right? There's a lot more than that.
Do you think 100,000 people care passionately about wanting David Sullivan out of the club?
Well, let's put it this way right now, yeah? And this is a good debate to have, right? Because I was going to wrap this up. I'm going to continue. Let's put it this way. If we don't put our flag in the sand, right, we won't have a fucking club left. And that is a fact. You've only got to look at the accounts of what Sean put up the other day, right? You're taking like fucking loans from loan sharks and things like that, right? This is not good, right? And what we're basically saying is we are shit scared worried that if we go down, then what happens? Do you know what I'm saying? It's a problem within a problem at the end of the day. And the problem, he is the problem. Sullivan is the problem. Now, what you're saying is that he ain't going nowhere, James. So we can't do nothing. Fine. Yeah, you are probably right on that. But as I've always said, it doesn't stop us from demanding.
But you've said it as well in here as well, right? I firmly believe David Sullivan is the worst owner in the Premier League, right? I would love it. I just want to lay that down before I say what I say, right? But you've said it in the spaces as well, in the YouTube game. You know for a fact that if he delivers us a £35 million marquee midfielder, attacking midfielder, that a lot of fans aren't going to be interested in this. You know that as well.
Probably, yeah. Right, I'm not being funny, right? If West Ham go and sign a high caliber player, everyone looks past Sullivan. Does it all the time, right? Because what it is, everyone focuses themselves, on the player, but they forget what Sullivan's done for the last 2.5 months. Right, the thing is with me is I don't look past players. Players come and go with me. Yeah, the structure at West Ham is not right, and it's never been right. It hasn't been right from the moment we've moved there. And what you say about David Moyes put West Ham, really, in a way, David Moyes opened the door to every West Ham fan to say, look how big West Ham can be. And that tells me all I need to know. Because if David Moyes can do that with that team, what an ambitious owner could do with a team where the money's pumped in right and have a right structure, West Ham could be a really high-end, top-quality Premier League side. West Ham's nowhere near it. Nowhere fucking near it. Do you know what I mean? We are closer to the bottom than we are to the top. And that's happened all in a space of 2 years. Go on, Brad. I'll let you land on what you want to say, mate.
Yeah, I just think as a fan base, we deserve so much better. And yeah, you are right, Rich. You're probably right. A lot of fans will look past it. I fucking certainly won't, mate. I've been on this bandwagon for fucking years, mate. And look, all we can keep doing is bang the drum over and over again. And you are right. You know, it's easy to be negative when results aren't going well, when we're not signing players. But it's actually much more powerful when we're speaking out against the owners when things are going well and saying, nah, do you know what? This ain't fucking right. Yeah, we're starting to see some performances, but I'm not about short-termism. I'm about long-termism for the fucking football club. I want to see stability and growth within this team, and actually a clear identity and structure that's going to take us forward, which we don't have at the moment. And all we can keep doing is banging the fucking drum to either force that change to happen or for 80-year-old Sullivan to fuck off out the club. But the problem we've got with that is, I agree, he probably won't sell it because we don't own our stadium. Maybe he's waiting for the LLDC shit to go down where he can buy the fucking stadium and then he'll sell it. I don't know. But right now, as a fan base, James made a great point on this the other day. The word United don't stand for a fuck all at the minute. And we need to come together as a fan base and be united. And everyone stop turning their fucking eyes on Potter and put your eyes on the ownership and what's going on. I've never seen Potter was so spiky in his press conference today.
It looks
drained. I don't blame
him. He looks like he's had enough.
Broken.
And he looks like a man who is drained of energy. Do you know what I'm saying? And I put a comment out earlier on saying basically that's what it is when you work under fucking Sullivan. Do you know what I'm saying? And the United don't stand for nothing, and that's what hurts me more than anything, right? Really. But I've always been told this: not every West Ham fan's going to get on with each other. Fine, but the common sort of issue here is West Ham United Football Club. It seems like the West Ham means a lot, and the United means fuck all, basically. Do you know what I mean? So, you know,
yeah, Sullivan's good at killing people, mate. Isn't he? I mean, look at fucking Pellegrini. He came into the club like a half decent looking older geezer. He ended up looking like fucking Emperor Palpatine by the time he left. You know what I mean? He looked fucking dead. It was dreadful.
Yeah.
Lopetegui was the worst.
Yeah.
Pellegrini, Lopetegui, they all look fucking dead, didn't they? Yeah. It's dreadful, man. And we're seeing it happen with Potter, and it will happen again. Everyone will go, oh, we've lost 3 or 4 games. Let's get Potter out. This system's shit. These players are shit. Well, he knows the fucking talent ain't on the pitch. He's trying to sort that out, but he ain't being allowed to. He ain't being fucking backed. So what's the club meant to do? So then what we go and do is we get rid of him, and then we'll go and get Sean Dyche in, who's going to play a completely different style of play to Graham Potter, or another manager that's going to be a different style of play because this ain't working. And guess what? That manager's now picking up the couple of players that fucking the other managers just brought in. And we're going round and round and round in circles, and it's just in the hope that there's 3 clubs worse than us. That's not what we came to this fucking bowl for. That is not what we left up.
Imagine someone like Sean Dyche as well, trying to set up, defensive football with the centre backs of Max Kilman and Nair Faged, or Tadibo and Aged. When he had Ben Mee and Tarkovsky in his pomp at Burnley, it's not going to happen. We're sort of restricted to what we can do because of the personnel we've got in the squad. But I'm with you. I think the only way that we go anywhere is we put faith in a manager that we think is going to improve players and implement, like an exciting system, right? Because Moyes couldn't win over the fans. Fine. We need someone who we believe is going to take us on a journey, a process, if you will, right? The question is whether Graham Potter's that man. I think he's got this season to prove it. I'd be very, very surprised if we're in a relegation fight, come March. But looking at Sunderland, it's hard not to think otherwise, isn't it?
Yeah, but does the West Ham fan base have time to give this geezer time? Because one thing I've noticed ever since I've done the YouTube game, and I've never really noticed it beforehand, I'm going to be honest, right, that how quick the fan base can turn on players and on managers very, very fast. Now, I'm in the camp with you. Like, I want to see what Potter can do with his own players, right? But people are screaming for this man to get out the door now, right? And that's where I get a bit lost with people, because you're screaming for him to go, but he's got 2 other managers' players there. Do you know what I mean? And we haven't really given
like that for the owner as well. You know what I mean? I'm with you. I think that does more harm than good. I think there's a level of, criticize the people right at the top. But at the same time, Potter's had his hands tied the entire time. He came in January, didn't really get anyone in. Wasn't really allowed anyone. He's coming in summer. He's been forced to sell Kudus. He's been allowed Youth, who looks really good, by the way. But he's not been allowed a lot. And Hermansen, maybe you can say, but I think we needed a goalkeeper.
Let me ask you something. I want to ask both of you this, because it's good to have both of you on here right now. Yeah, it's just come to me. Is there a propaganda machine happening at West Ham where, like today, for instance, I've seen so many links today and it has pissed me off because they've had all week to come out with links and they're literally firing player after player after player. And if it ain't one of them, it's another one. And there's multiple people all around. Is the propaganda machine in a full effect at West Ham right now in regards to players?
100%. 100%, mate. It's the same every window.
Yeah, but on this one though, Brad, I think this is a bit more. How can I put it? This is a bit more aggressive. This one, like to see all them links today, I was like, "Fuck the links! I want to see bids. I want to see bids accepted." Do you get what I'm saying?
That's mate. That was exactly the same as what I voice noted to my brother, mate. I said I'm bored of seeing West Ham may bid for, West Ham are interested in. I need to see an update that says West Ham have agreed a deal with. The player's on his way for a fucking medical. I'm bored. I'm so bored of going on X and seeing the same recycled bollocks all over the time. And it just feels like it is a propaganda fucking machine. Let's just keep driving this news into the media. And then it looks like we're trying, we're doing everything, but we can't get the players. I saw it happen yesterday on Sean Whetstone come out with a list of fucking players. Like we're all meant to be the experts and the scouts. We've just paid £1 million to get Carl McCauley to be the head of recruitment, and we've got scouts that are on the fucking payroll at this football club to do that job. And we've got the media mouthpiece of David Sullivan asking the fans who they want to sign. That to me was Sullivan versus fucking Graham Potter. It's like, these are the players I want. These are the players Potter wants. What do you think, fans? So I can go back to Graham and say, look, some of them want my fucking players. It's a piss take, mate.
Oh, Joe, well, I couldn't agree with you anymore. Rich, what did you say to that?
Yeah, again, I completely agree. I was having a look there at Graham Potter and his press conference today a little bit because you were talking about Sean, and yeah, I think there definitely is a lot going on behind the scenes. I'm always of the view though, there's always something more that you don't see, you know, and I think it's all well and good. I think the problem is, like you said, James, we're like piranhas, hungry to feed. Yeah,
Right.
and sometimes that can be we'll devour a manager or we'll eat up a player and, you know, abuse them. But sometimes you need to throw something out there for the fans to feed on, isn't it? And I think that's what we're seeing, which you know is frankly ridiculous, and I think it's, you know, it's insulting. That being said, it's always going to happen, and we are always going to see it happen a lot more at West Ham because we follow West Ham accounts, we follow West Ham transfer rumours. You know, every single day there are literally 20, 50 new transfer rumours floating about. We just see the West Ham ones. But
West Ham fans have got to wake up, man. Like, they're like, oh, let's get Potter out, but who are we going to replace him with? Like, and this is the point, because we can all go out there and go, oh, we could get Marco Silva. The cunt does not invest into managers. He's never done it.
No,
so you're looking at the free market again. It's the same fucking shit.
What it is,
wake up.
Yeah, what it is, what Brad's saying is basically is that whatever manager we get, it's going to be a free transfer anyway. So it doesn't matter. Listen, you sack him, you go and get Deitch or Cooper or fucking Rafa Benitez or whoever you like. Do you know what I mean? You're going to go and get someone who basically is begging for a job or begging to get back into management. Right. The other person that's been mentioned recently, what I've heard, right, for other people, is Gary O'Neill. Like, Gary O'Neill's been sacked by Wolves. He's out of work. Right, we're going to go and get him there. Like, the problem is, and my argument always has been, is how many times do you have to sack a manager before you realise it ain't the manager's fault? It's the ownership's fault. And these bids today, I'm going to say this: whoever's pumping this shit needs to really strongly have a think about what they're saying, right? And only put out stuff that is genuine. Because what I'm noticing is it's the same links, it's the same shit. It's the same propaganda machine. And I'm not fucking afraid to call it out. I will call it out because I don't know these people. They're not in my fucking pocket and I'm not in their pocket. So I will call this shit out. And I just feel that actions need to happen now. Like, we've been speaking, I've been covering it on E20 all summer about transfers. And I've never seen a window like this. Never seen a window like this.
I don't know about that, mate. I don't know.
I'm telling you what, mate. Right. I tell you what. you're going to say about players and other situations with windows. I've never seen West Ham go to Spurs and to try and get a salver player because they're begging to get rid of a player because they have to sell before they buy. Never seen that in my fucking lifetime. I know that.
I agree. It's pathetic. It's pathetic.
Right. And then you've got Callum Wilson, which Potter said he didn't want. 24 hours later, Sullivan says we're going to have him. Right. So that's Callum Wilson. Then you've got John Victor at the airport and the Mads Hermansen bait and switch move. Then you've got the disaster at the start of the game against Sunderland. And now you've got the whole week. We've had the whole week to go out and get a midfielder. The whole week.
Add to that, James, we had Karen
Nothing.
Brady one day after the fucking game coming on to TalkSport, laughing and saying, I think it's clear that everyone can see we need midfielders at West Ham.
True.
And before we've signed a midfielder, we've fucking loaned out, not sold, loaned out Edson Alvarez, one of our biggest sellable assets, apparently. It's fucking bollocks.
Is he that sellable though? I think someone would have bought him. There's a lot of things to talk about.
But the point is, Rich, the point I'm trying to make, mate, is why the fuck are we getting held over a barrel? You're watching other clubs, Newcastle, they're not getting held over a barrel on Isak. Brentford ain't getting held over a barrel on Wissa. Fucking even Southampton ain't getting held over a barrel on Diblin and Fernandez. They're standing firm and saying, look, we want to get our players, we'll try and get our players in, and only then may we consider a sanction, but it's on our terms. Whereas David Sullivan's fucking pimping out Mohamed Kudus, not getting the price he wants and just going, well, fuck it, we need the money, we'll sell him. It's a joke, mate.
And what it is, say this, Rich, before I let you land, not only did he pimp out Mohamed Kudus, he asked for a bidding war that didn't exist. That's the real thing that went wrong, is that he expected people to come in and have a bidding war and try and get that 70 million. It was never going to happen. It was never going to happen. And
not that early,
yeah. So go on, Rich. I'll let you land on anything you're going to say.
No, I agree with what you both said. It is frustrating, and I think especially if you're. I'm not saying either of you are, but I mean, I think we all are glued to the social media machine. There's always so much going on to aggravate, frustrate you, and bother you. And then it's only actually when West Ham sign a player, it's almost small fry because there's so much shit going on. Like that John Victor Mads Hermansen thing. I mean, the least talked about part of that story was the fact that West Ham actually signed Mads Hermansen. It felt like, which is it's just the nature of the modern game now, isn't it? But I think all I'm going to end on here is I don't even know. I had something I can't remember. We're a bit shit. We're probably gonna lose tomorrow night. But I think my point was we've had 19 permanent managers. I won't remind you who's got the highest win rate of those 19 permanent managers. But we've had 19 permanent managers. This is not a lot. And under Sullivan and Brady, we've had, let me just count, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Zola doesn't count, I'm guessing.
Zola doesn't count because Sullivan was already here before he took over.
So we had 12 in the 110 years before they came in, and 7 since. And the fact that fans want that to move to 8 and the 20th manager after barely seeing what Graham Potter can do, especially when it's someone who has built a reputation on a builder as a team, it is totally ridiculous, embarrassing, and just pathetic. And you can talk about, you can say all you want. I'm a good West Ham fan because I want David Sullivan out, etc. I think that's basic, right? You're a good West Ham fan if you are a die-hard fan and you stick with that team through thick and thin and you support the manager as well. Who knows? Maybe not. I don't know. That being a die-hard fan doesn't mean you have to support the manager, but Graham Potter deserves our support and we're going to lose tomorrow. All the best, gents. Brad, great guest. Much better than the 2 before. James, always brilliant. Love the Alvarez video. Guys, become a member. See the perks down below. It's 99 best money you could ever spend.
He's doing monetary gain, but that's him. Brad, any final words from you, mate?
No, I haven't got anything else to add, James. I think I've said enough. I need to go home and take my fucking chill pill, I think.
All right, mate. Take it easy. Peace. That's been Brad. Right, I'm going to wrap it up here. That's what it's all about, getting people on, hearing what they've got to say, and basically getting their opinions. Tomorrow night's going to be hard for everyone. If West Ham pull out a fucking miracle tomorrow night, I'll be stunned. So let's hope we can get something out of the game. Yeah. And if we can't get nothing out of the game, let's not get embarrassed. If West Ham get absolutely fucking destroyed, then I'm going to be worried, mate. I really am, because there's 2 games in and we're no further forward. And also, pick up on all these fucking links. And if you start seeing all this bollocks, you've got to start calling it out, because nothing would ever change otherwise. Anyway, that's enough from me. Take care of yourselves out there. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to E20 Zone TV. I'll be back for a full night set tomorrow night. Watch along, after thought, player ratings, you name it, I'll be there. But from me to you, take care of yourselves. Peace.